Alrighty, so we have two inequalities left to solve, so let's take a look at each of these. Now, normally I would go through and make sure that I have a positive x squared, so I'm actually going to subtract over the 4x and add the x squared. Subtract over the 4x and add the x squared. So I get 0 is less than x squared minus 4x plus 4. And that can be factored into x minus 2 and x minus 2. So I get just a single number at x equals positive 2. I should probably write that down. All right, now there's no equal to here, so this is an open circle. Stick with my color scheme from before. Open circle, parabola opening up with a dashed line. And now replace the 0 with a y, so this is y is less than the parabola. Y is less than means shade below. Shading below is everything out here. So this is one of our special cases. Generally speaking, when you get a single x value, you've got one of your special cases. All right, so when I go to write my solution, I've got everything to the left of 2, everything to the right of 2, but I cannot actually include the 2. So I would say x is less than 2 or x is greater than 2. You could also say it's all real numbers except all real numbers except for 2. Sorry, I stopped talking there for a minute. I was too focused on what I was writing. As far as interval goes, remember, negative infinity is on the left, positive infinity is on the right. So I'm going from negative infinity up until 2, cannot equal 2, so I have parentheses. And then I start again at 2 and go to positive infinity. Again, both are parentheses because there is no equal to. All right? So that one was on the quicker side. This next one, it's going to be a little bit more challenging. And that's because it doesn't factor. All right? This does not factor. So I have to use the quadratic formula. So I'm going to go x equals negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared is 1 minus 4 times a times c all over 2a. Okay, lots of 1's involved. So I get x equals negative 1 plus or minus the square root of. The inside of this square root, it becomes 1 minus negative 4 is 1 plus 4 is 5 all over 2. Now, we're going to be giving exact value answers, so we're going to actually keep working with that. Now, I'm going to draw the graph up top, just because I know I'm going to run out of space if I put it down at the bottom. Now, I know that I'm going to have two x-intercepts. The smaller number is the one with the subtraction involved. So I have negative 1 minus the square root of 5 all over 2. And I have negative 1 plus the square root of 5 all over 2. Okay. If you wanted to test a value, the easiest number to know that is definitely in between these would be negative 1 over 2, because that's the central part that you're adding or subtracting the square root 5 from. But I would again advocate for sketching the graph and going from there. Now there's no equal to, so I draw open circles. My parabola opens up. And I want to replace the 0 with a y. So this is y is greater than the parabola. Y is greater than means shade above. Shade above is everything inside in this case. So when I connect them together, I get a single interval. Okay. So it's going to look like this. X is less than negative 1 minus the square root of 5 over 2. Or x is greater than negative 1 plus the square root of 5 over 2. Crazy looking answer here. It's totally and completely okay to have it though. Now it's a single interval with negative 1 minus the square root of 5 all over 2 on the left, and negative 1 plus the square root of 5 all over 2 on the right. Because there's no equal to, these are both parentheses. Remember, if there was an equal to, I'd be drawing square brackets instead. All right, so most of the problems you're going to deal with, you can solve by factoring. and they have nicer, prettier answers like integers and fractions, but occasionally you will need to use a quadratic formula and get radical answers such as these. You will not be dealing with imaginary numbers when it comes to solving quadratic inequalities. All right, guys, that's it. Let me know if you have any questions.